Good night, have what's up tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Immigrant Spirit Divine. I'm here to give you the show news on tonight. First we're gonna start with the Mississippi River. Now the Mississippi River is sinking. You know, the Mississippi River continues to sink to record low as it passes through New Orleans. So all are praying for rain. And we had a little drizzle today. But we haven't had no rain in a while. I think for about a week or so. So engineer are monitoring the water level, on the Mississippi River in New Orleans. So it's been about 12 years since it has been this low. So tourists gather on the moonwalk in Woodenberg Park along the Mississippi River in New Orleans. As the river rises and fall over the course of the year, its temperature reaches closer to the bottom of the step. So it is real low. It is real low. And they said the last time it was like that was 12 years ago. So now we're going to talk about, for the past 2 days, I have been talking about the immigrant. So Florida judge order Mr. Ryan to hand over immigrant flight records. So I just talked about that yesterday. The last time they flew was like last month. So everything like in limbo with the immigrant. First it was overcrowded on the boat. You know, and so now they get dropped off out of nowhere. So everything's like in limbo right now. So they want to turn over their flight records. So the governor office, did not immediately respond to the request for the comment, but the lawyer represented the Florida Center for the Government Accountability said that there will be appeal. They're going to appeal it. So Florida Governor Mr. Ryan said he launched the immigrant relocation program as a part of an effort to draw attention to the immigrant policy, of the president. So they talk about this policy, so I've been talking about this for the past 2 days. So policy have to still remain, because I talked about it yesterday how immigrant was illegal going to different state without the policy. So everything that the relocation of the program, they want to relocate the program. They also want to draw attention to the policy. So Florida judge on Tuesday found that the governor, Mr. Ryan's office is not following the state public records law, in order to administration to turn over the records, connected to the immigrant flights, from Texas, Malta Vineyard within the next 20 days. So the next 20 days they want them to turn over the immigrant flight records. They want to see who's getting on that flight, who authorized the flight. So they want to know all that in their records. So the judge, J. Lee, Marshall rebuffed the argument from the government lawyer that should be allowed to wait until December the 1st. So someone wanted to wait till December the 1st to hand over the records. So one judge wants to hand over the records now, and this judge here said, let's wait till December the 1st. Including the records they want to include the phone, the text, log, belonging to James, the government chief of staff, who was involved in the operating of the flight. So it's about this whole flight, who was operating the flight. They need to know all the names, who was texting who, the phone. They want to turn over everything, and the government had been held accountable for his constitution delay to provide the public access to the records. St. Michael, director of the public access for Florida Center for Government Accountability Government Group that brought the lawsuit, to attention. So the rules of the law have been prevailed. So it's a lot that's going on with these immigrants. These immigrants is not speaking up for themselves because some of them don't speak English. And so they just getting dropped off, anywhere and getting on a boat, overloading the boat. I mean, it just so much is going on. So we had to get this program together. We had to get these policies together, so everything can run smoothly for this immigrant. You know, so Florida Center for Government Accountability filed a lawsuit early this month that to claim the failure to hand over the records. So they've been asking them to hand over the records. So they were failure to hand over the records. It was unjustified delay. You know, so administration has since turned over some records, including the copies of the waivers, you know, that was signed by the immigrant who flew on the flight system. So they had some copies that was waived that the immigrant had signed. You know, so who flew on a flight, and well as information that shown the involvement. You know, so they need to know who all was involved, who called who texted who, you know, so they want everything to be turned over. You know, so Nick General Counsel for Mr. Ryan tried to argue with Marshall after the judge in his decision from the bench contended the decision will create percentage and will require the administration to play favor with the response to the public. You know, so they're trying to get everything straight for immigrants. So that the lawsuit maintain that Mr. Ryan administration also ignored the guidelines. You know, for the relocation program that's laid out for the state. You know, so that lawsuit is scheduled to go before the court judge in November. So the public record case is just one of several ongoing legal challenges surrounding the flight. State Senator Jason, Democrat from the South Florida, had filed a lawsuit that asserted that the 12 million places in the budget to pay for the flight run of state law surrounding the budget. You know, so it's a lot going on, but at least a lot of people speaking up for this immigrant, you know, because they can't speak for themselves, you know, so it's so much going on, but they're trying to get this program together, trying to get the policies together, and they're trying to get these records turned over so they can see who is involved, because everything is in limbo right now. So they're trying to see who is involved, who allowed the crowd, the boat to be overflow, who allowed the immigrants to get on the flight going to different states, so they're trying to find out who is involved or handled the immigrant or their flight. So the administration had blocked out the names of those who signed the waiver to get on the plane. So they're saying whoever signed the waiver to get on the plane, it been blocked it out. So that's why they want all the records to be turned over. So the immigrant had been having issues lately, traveling on planes, traveling on a boat. They just been having issues for quite a while. 2, Florida judge ordered Ryan to hand over immigrant flights and record. 3. Now the last time immigrant had traveled was last month. They put a hold on it, for them traveling because they're trying to find out who is in charge of their travelers. So 4. They want the immigrant relocation the program, and the policy. So 5, they require administration to turn over the records who connected to immigrant flights, from Texas within the next 20 days. So they want all this to be turned over in the next 20 days. So 6, George G. Lee, government lawyer, said they should have been allowed, to wait until December, So to hand over the records, including the phone, the text, the log, or whoever operating the plane, the government chief or staff who was involved. They need to know who all was involved. So they're trying to organize We're trying to organize immigrants getting dropped off out of nowhere. We're trying to have it very organized for them. We're dealing with the policy, the flight, and who operate the flight, who in charge of the immigrants are dealing with their flights, dealing with their travelers. So we just have to eliminate um, too many getting on at one time. So so I, so what they're saying is like so much stuff is going on to immigrants. So they're trying to find out who is in charge. So we need to turn over the records, to find out. They even want to know who's operating the flight. So the policy, everything had to change. With the policy, I talked about the policy yesterday. May not be the same policy they're talking about, but the policy Title 42, it needs to remain. All these policies need to be updated. It needs to be updated because it had to be followed through. So we had to get everything on track with these immigrants. That they flying all over, just getting dropped off all over. So they need to know who operating the flight, who was in charge of everyone that was on the flight. So they just only trying to find out information about who really in charge of the immigrant flights, going and coming. So that's all the show. And we also talked about the Mississippi River is sinking. So I don't know, how they gonna do that, but they say the last time we had it that low was 12 years ago. They say it's so low you can even see the steps. Now at one time you couldn't see the steps, because it had so much water. But we haven't had rain in a while, and then also the Mississippi River is just sinking, where you can see the steps right now. They say, where I saw the clip on the news. You could see the steps. At one time, you could not see the steps. So I don't. I guess they're gonna be working on it. You have to start working on it for now. So it can be ready for next year. So the Mississippi is it been sitting up there for so many years. So I don't know how they're gonna do that, but the Mississippi River are sinking, and the lowest they ever had that before was 12 years ago. So we also talk about the immigrant. They need to the judge. One of the judges said they need to turn over the records so we can find out who all was involved, all immigrants on flight. And the names that who signed the waiver. All that was blocked off. So it's a lot. It's going on right now with the immigrants, with the policy, with the program. But as soon, I hope everything resolve itself. So that's all the show news I have for y'all tonight. And y'all have a blessed night. I see you on the next video.